Hi, my name is Heather and welcome to Strings and Threads. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial for the Groovy Waves hat. And this is a knitted hat, so this is going to be a video tutorial with knitting. So this is made with chunky yarn. This particular hat that I have on right now, this Groovy Waves hat, was made with Ogo, Caron Colorama. This color is Primary Pop. I did get this at Ollie's, so I'm not sure if it's still available or not, but as you can see, it's a 5 chunky. 5 bulky is what it says. This is what I have left over from that. You can see the red. I left off with the red there. And for the tutorial, I'm going to be using something that I bought off of Amazon when they were having an Amazon Prime Day. And it was a really great deal the day that I bought it, but it's really, I think it's a no name. I don't think there's a name for it. It just says crochet yarn, soft and warm. Good for, what does it say? Good for home knitting. I think you could crochet with this as well, but as you can see, there's nothing else on the label. And this is a nice, thick, chunky yarn. So I'll go at, this is an easy hat. A beginner knitter can do this quite easily. I will kind of go at a slower pace, so I apologize if you're a little bit more proficient of a knitter, but I want to make sure that this is a tutorial that everybody can enjoy. So I'll turn it around and let's get started. Oh, you'll need 10 millimeter, which is pretty thick, knitting needles. 10 millimeter. All right, again, we are going to use thick and chunky yarn for this. You can do that of your choosing. This is the Ogo, and this is how it turned out. For the tutorial, I'm going to use this crochet yarn, soft and warm, that I just showed you, and a 10 millimeter knitting needle. Now, to get started, I first want to preface all of this by saying that I am a crocheter first. When I was younger, my mother did teach me how to knit, but she didn't really we didn't really read patterns or do anything, just kind of showed me the technique, and I remembered how to do the technique. Unfortunately, I don't remember how she cast on the first stitch. I know she had some kind of magical way. She would be like, and then it would be ready. So I'm going to start with a slip knot. I don't know if that's proper knitting starting or not, but I'm going to start with a slip knot. And then to cast on the rest of the stitches, I'm going to try to do it a little bit more loosely. I hold my hand out, and I hate to say like a gun, but that's the best way for me to describe it. My ring finger and my pinky kind of tuck the yarn under. It goes around my thumb and around my first finger. And what I do is I go under my thumb, but not under the back one. It'll still be in front of the back one. And then I let go, slowly let go, and that will cast on a stitch. So I'm at 2 right now. What I want to do is get to 40. I'll show you a few more stitches slowly, and then I will pause so that we can finish casting on 40. Again, I hold it under my ring finger and my pinky. This is my left hand. I am right-handed. I don't know that knitters do it right or left-handed, but this is the way that I learned. So with my left hand, I have it tucked under my 2 fingers. It comes around my thumb, around my pointer finger. And then I go under my thumb, and it's coming through the middle, and just slowly let go. You can see I use my pointer finger kind of to guide it so that it doesn't immediately come unraveled. And I'm up to 4, and then 5, and then 6. So I will do one more with you, and then we'll pause. We can both pause and come back once 40 stitches have been cast on. So again, just kind of grab onto the yarn, wrap it around your thumb and your pointer finger, come under your thumb, and then slowly make sure you're holding on to this, because if it comes off, it won't work. Like this. Okay, so when you have 40 of these put on the needle, then come back. Okay, I have 40 stitches cast on. I'm going to move the knitting needle to my left hand and the empty one to my right hand. And you're going to go into individual stitches, and this is called the knit stitch. Again, I'm sorry if you're already a proficient knitter. I know I'm moving a little bit slow, but I just want this to be a beginner-friendly tutorial. So you can see that there's a stitch there, and you can see where the knot to the stitch is. You want to come under or come through the stitch like this. So you can see the knot is on the outside here, and the empty needle is behind the other needle that has all the stitches on it. But I'm through the stitch. And then I'm going to take the yarn that's attached to the skein, come around to the left, and it's coming through the middle of the stitch. I'm going to take the empty hook down and allow a new stitch to form here, and then take it off. Once it's through, you take it off of the other needle, put it onto the one that doesn't have any. This is the pattern, and this is called the knit stitch. Come up through the stitch, bring the yarn back behind and around so it's coming through the middle, and then you're going to come under and then take it off. Okay. We're going to do the knit stitch for all 40 stitches. So let's do that. You can see it's starting to grow a little bit. Let's do that and then come back once you have all of the stitches knitted onto the other needle. Okay, I have all of the stitches on the other needle now, and what I'm going to do is change hands. I'll put the full needle on my left hand and the empty one on my right, and I'm going to just do the same exact thing again for the next row. I'm going to knit every single stitch, and then I'll turn it around, or put them in the opposite hands, and continue knitting each stitch again. We're going to keep knitting rows until from the bottom up measures 9 inches or 23 centimeters. So why don't we continue knitting? I'll pause it here. You can pause it here. Just continue knitting rows. If you need a refresher on how to knit, just go back to where I knit the first row so that you can watch. And then we'll come back when we have 9 inches showing. All right, I've got this to 9 inches. This one does not have centimeters, but now it'll be time to decrease. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit one, and then we'll knit 2 together. And the way you knit 2 together is you do it the same way as a regular knit, but you just go through 2 stitches. You knit the 2 together, just like that. Then you're going to knit 1, and then knit 2 together. So you're going to go through 2 stitches. You'll do the same thing as a regular knit. And we're going to follow this pattern all the way to the end. Knit 1, knit 2 together. I'm going to pause here. You can pause here, and we'll come back when we're at the end of the row. Okay, I just finished that row, and we ended up with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 27 stitches left. So now we're going to do the same thing again. Knit 1, knit 2 together, just do the knit stitch, but go through 2 of the stitches. Knit 1, knit 2 together, and we'll go, I'll pause here, we'll finish the row and then come back. Okay, we're back. We're going to do one more row with the same, following the same pattern. Knit 1, then knit 2 together. This is a short row, so we may as well do the whole row together. Knit 1, knit 2 together. By the way, if I ever accidentally said crochet, please forgive me. I'm way more used to doing crochet tutorials, and I caught on a different tutorial that I did that was knitting, I caught that I said crochet 1, crochet 2 together when I meant to say knit. So if I have said that at all in this video, please forgive me. Knit 2 together, knit 1, together. And it looks like this row ends with knit 2 together. I believe the last row did the same. So now we're going to cast off. If you haven't done that before, this is the way that I've learned how to do it, so hopefully it's correct. I believe it is. You're going to knit 1 and then knit 2. And you're going to take the very first one that you knitted and lift up the loop and put the loop over the second loop. Let me adjust this camera. Okay, and then we're going to knit another one. So you're going to make it so that there'll be 2 loops on the right needle. And when there's 2, you take the one in the back and put it over the newer one. We're going to do that again. Knit 1, just make sure there's 2 on there. Take the one down there. Okay. Go through the whole row this way. All right, here's the last one. And we're going to need to cut a tail because we're going to sew the hat together. So however much you think we might need for sewing the hat together, I probably did too much. That seems to be my pattern, is to do too much. So you have the loop, you're going to take the tail, put the tail through the last loop, and then pull it. And it should look like this. Okay. So next you're going to need a yarn needle or darning needle, whatever you call that, and we'll sew it together. I have it threaded. And what I'm going to do, I didn't bring it to a point because I didn't want a pointy top. So I'm going to have to get over to this side so that we can sew this together and then sew along the sides. So I'm just kind of going to weave in and out of the stitches until I get to the end. Okay, so now I'm going to sew the two sides together. Across the top. I'll do one more stitch here and then I'll pause it while we finish going across the top. Just get to here, pull that tight. When you get through the top part, we'll go back and I'll come back and we can sew the sides. I just sewed along the top. I forgot to say this when I started to sew it, but both sides should look the same. If you think one side looks nicer, you would want to put the nicer side on the inside because we're sewing it with the wrong side showing. But both, like I said, both sides should look the same. So now we're just going to carefully sew both sides together along the sides and make sure that you have it lined up so that the bottoms match. So you'll just sew down to here and then weave in the ends. I'll come back with the finished. Okay, here's the final product. You can see how it looks. And it is kind of long. I do that on purpose. I'm the type of person I like to have my whole ear covered when I'm wearing a hat, and I do have kind of big ears. But the nice thing is that with this hat, if you don't like it as long as I've made it, you can roll it up, and you can roll it up to where you want it to be. That's way too short for me, but so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please consider subscribing and becoming part of the Strings and Threads gang. Have a great day.